is everyone?
Good.
Fine.
Good. Okay, so my name's Melody, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about stress, its physical and mental effects on our bodies and our health, and ways that we can alleviate it. So everybody feels stress in their daily lives from time to time. What do you guys find stresses you out the most?
Lack of time.
Driving. Work.
Driving. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you guys a couple methods that we can actually relieve our stress with throughout the presentation. So I'm just going to start with one for now. It's proper breathing. Everyone needs to know. So place one hand over your lower abdomen and take in a deep breath. Did you feel it in your stomach or your chest?
A little bit of both, but mostly the stomach.
Mostly the stomach?
Mostly my chest.
Mostly your chest?
Mostly my chest.
Mostly chest? Okay, so if you're feeling it in your chest, you're only breathing with your rib cage. You need to actually feel the breath come down into the lower cavity of your lungs so that your diaphragm is working with it. So if you're taking a proper breath, you'll know by when you've got your hand on your stomach and you breathe that breath in, your hand will go out with the expansion of your stomach. So we'll just practice that a couple times. When we inhale, we want to count in for about 8 seconds and about 5 exhaling. So you guys can just practice that now.
When we take it in, do we hold it or just breathe in deep and then breathe out deep?
Just breathe in deep for 8 seconds, release for 5. You don't need to pause. We good?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel a little more relaxed, maybe?
A little lightheaded.
A little lightheaded?
Mm-hmm.
Are you used to feeling the breath in your chest?
Yeah, but not down here. It feels like I really took in a lot of air, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it expands it more, so you're filling your lungs properly. If you only feel it in the chest, you're only taking about a half breath at a time. So you're not getting the right amount of oxygen to your brain. Okay, so we'll start off here. So what is stress? What do you guys, when you hear stress, what do you think of?
Factors that make you upset or tense.
Things that get you angry.
Okay. So the dictionary definition is importance attached to a thing. Now to me that sounds like sentimental value or something, so I guess everyone has their own ideas of what stress is. But generally speaking, stress is any factor, external or internal, that has an effect on the individual. External factors include all the difficulties and challenges that we see in day-to-day life, whereas our internal factors are actually what help us deal with the stress and how we manage our stress. So it's when you hear that internal battle going on when you're stressed out, that's what that is your internal factors. And another important note about stress is that many people who have stress tend to lead unhealthy lifestyles. For example, myself, a couple months ago, I was a smoker, and I'd find that on the weeks where I was having a lot more stress, I'd be smoking a lot more. And, you know, if you've got a lot of kids and stuff and they've got rehearsals and practices and soccer games and stuff, you're running back and forth between them. You might not have time to eat dinner or prepare a meal for the night. And now you're going to do physical activity on an empty stomach. So things like that, everything can contribute to making our lives stressful. So time management, like what you mentioned earlier, that's a really important one, as well as making sure that we keep our lifestyles healthy. So, some of the emotional effects from stress. Nervousness, kind of like myself right now. So, you know, if you're in front of a crowd and you're doing things, that's that nervousness you feel, that's a form of stress. Same with anxiety. Are you able to see? The same with anxiety. Changes in eating habits, so overeating or undereating. Now you oftentimes hear when people are depressed the term comfort food. This is where it's derived from. Loss of enthusiasm or energy. Changes in mood such as depression or irritability, mood swings. Now these are just a couple of the symptoms I have listed here, but there's many more you can look into as well that have effect emotionally. I find the one changes in mood such as depression or irritability, these kind of tie in with the changes in the eating habits and such, because when you are depressed, like I said before, that's when you tend to overeat or undereat. So emotional effects can actually have a lot of physical effects on our body as well, because it makes, or it kind of inspires our decisions as to the choices we make and whether or not they are healthy or unhealthy. So some of those physical effects are, sleep disturbances such as insomnia. So with insomnia, as you might already know, it's difficult for the person to fall asleep, or once they are sleeping, to stay asleep. So sleep disturbances, insomnia, or you get the opposite, oversleeping. You know, you're depressed, you don't want to wake up and face your problems, you'd rather lay in bed all day, sleep them away. So people usually have problems with insomnia or oversleeping when you are stressed out. Muscle tension or aches, headaches, you often hear about migraines when people are stressed out. Gastrointestinal problems, fatigue, and those kind of all tie in together, and that happens with the depression and whatnot. And it's also important to note, I've just put this at the bottom here, that not everyone experiences the exact same symptoms, and a lot of the symptoms that you do see in stress can also be indications of serious underlying conditions. So it's good to make sure that you know your body's homeostasis, so that when something is out, so the balance of your body, so that when something is out or not feeling right, you can pay attention to know if it's stress related or it could be indicating another disorder.
So you should probably go to the doctor then to get that checked.
But you want to make sure that you know your body, right? So that if you know when you're stressed out, you know what happens when you're stressed out. You pay attention to what effects you get from stress. So that, because sometimes, like I said, these aren't always related to stress. They could be other conditions and just be dismissed as stress, whereas oftentimes they could be derived from it as well, right? Now, the importance of stress management. We'll go back a slide and talk about this quickly. Why do you guys think stress management's important?
So it can help you get through your daily life easier if you know how to control it properly.
It's also going to keep you healthier, because when you're stressed, you're putting a lot of pressure on your body, not just your mind.
Yeah. And we've seen that before, right, with the emotional and the physical effects. Did you have anything else?
Like some people actually, when they're stressed, actually flip out and can do physical damage to themselves and or other people.
Okay, so we covered what the importance are. Now let's take a look at it. Okay, so it's important to keep your stress levels in check, like we said before, to avoid those physical and emotional symptoms. It also replenishes our body's energy reserves, and it allows us, like you said, to know how to deal with our stresses in the future when we are faced with them. If stress isn't dealt with, it can actually become chronic, which leads to a variety of health problems, and some of them could potentially be fatal if left undealt with. And actually the major areas of the body affected by stress include, like you were saying before, they could actually have an effect on your behaviors and your actions. So the number one is the brain and the nerves, your muscles and joints, the heart, even your stomach, pancreas, intestines, and as well as, some people don't know it, but as well as your reproductive system. You know, when you hear about people who are depressed or really anxious and loss of libido, things like that can happen. So stress has an impact on our entire balance.